We begin with Marcel Price, who was diagnosed with bipolar disorder, anxiety, and depression at the age of 14 while growing up in Ypsilanti. Now known as Fable the Poet, he's living in Grand Rapids as the city's newly named Poet Laureate.
Don't mind me.
He overcame a troubled family environment, as well as biased attitudes about his biracial family background, all while living with mental health disorders. Now he's working to break down the stigma often associated with mental disorders by engaging audiences, both young and old, through his creative prose. He's also a partner in Mental Health America, a national community-based nonprofit. Marcel is committed to addressing the needs of those with mental health conditions as he makes appearances in schools and community centers across Michigan.
Don't mind me, because this poem is meant to be quiet.
I grew up in a really complicated home environment. I grew up with an incredible mother without a father around. My mom played both roles very, very, very well.
Said doctors about the child that was stillborn, moving. Said factors about the lifestyle I still live, yet soothe me more than the antidepressants, because isn't it depressing how life works sometimes?
I grew up with a stepfather that had issues with alcoholism and abuse. And at age 14, when things were really getting to the peak of where they were at, I was diagnosed with anxiety, bipolar, and depression.
Isn't it refreshing how life works sometimes? I'm sorry. I guess that's the bipolar. When you can go from your childhood theme song matching Saturday morning cartoons and understanding why you love ninjas, pizza, and turtles, to not understanding why life's hurdles seem to match Berlin walls as you crumble to pharmaceutical commercials because the jingle over the symptoms matches the dinner bell.
My mom was really familiar with it, and I feel like she knew what was going on when I started to lash out, when I started to get suspended a lot in school, when I started to hit those moods of where I'm way up or way down and there's never being a medium.
And you're starving to feel normal. Your own arm always looks a little bit more appetizing when you feel trapped, so smother that. No, where's the salt?
Unfortunately, I feel like it was like in my mid-20s, like 25, is when I realized that like this wasn't a healthy cycle.
Because I know someone is willing to throw it, and I may have open wounds that won't heal soon, so if you are going to throw it, could you please pass the paper shaker?
When you're battling issues with mental wellness, when you throw substances in the mix, it throws you off kilter even more.
It is normal to eat 3 meals a day, and this might make a great one, but do you suffer from bulimia if you're coughing up your differences instead of meals? What's normal?
With having a healthy relationship is being open and honest and talking about these things, because if you don't and you act like it's not an issue, it's going to become even more of an issue.
Sometimes when I reminisce, I get sad. Is that depression? Should life lessons be forget that stepdad one tried to fight me every day because a pill will fix that? Erase to remember my grandest father figure trying to figure out why I can't bear to see him change with time. As I was told through Alzheimer's disease he might forget me anyways this one time, or 2 or 3 times. Thought about killing myself. That's not normal.
Poetry, I feel like so many people say it with art. It's like, oh, it saved my life, but it has literally saved my life.
What's normal? I hear the symptoms are having both parents happy and functional. Functional meaning what you see is actually what you get. And those skeletons, if there are skeletons, will be safely swept under the rug, out of sight, out of the mind, as if the blind are happier people, because happy, that's normal.
I never had a structure. I never had anything regular. Between my mood, between my home environment, nothing was ever regular. And poetry was regular. It was consistent.
And not bottling the you won't, because you can't, or the you are too to do it, or I wish they never, so I never felt. Not normal. You shouldn't bottle unless it's prescribed. It's not normal. Well, neither is my disorder, apparently.
I could reflect on it and see exactly where my mind was at and exactly what I was going through.
And for some scary reason, I'm the 25th percentile child in the world, isn't bipolar, then I ask, well, why does the globe have 2? And I have to think that my emotion percent is more relevant than my race, because face it, with the globe being 20% black, 10% Hispanic, 12% biracial, I wish to equally manage my emotion disorder in order of issue, get a tissue, race, because face it, I'm a minority anyway.
Now, I find so much worth in working with students because I hear that it helps them through these same issues.
25% of a 12% leave me feeling roughly 3% normal, but this poem is for the paper shakers. The ones whose hands match leaves and fall but don't because you aren't normal, praise it. Using people's ears like medication because it's cheaper, face it. Sometimes the only reassurance you need is people showing you that someone is willing to listen.
And now feeling like I have a purpose or a reason. That's the biggest help.
Do you ever get depressed? Why at times does it feel like there is nothing left, but there is everything? The same reason people pay no attention to art, but pay to record in the studio, but tune everybody else out, find out the world's north and south poles or milestones, and appreciate them no matter what you have. Because sometimes you will be the only one who will. And there's not a pill to fix that. That's a fact.